Hey guys, welcome to another video. Today I'm making a video about my impressions, my first thoughts on the new Panasonic FZ1000 bridge camera. Now, I don't have the camera yet. These are just my thoughts, so I'm just going to be talking about it. But in a couple days, July 31st, 2014, the camera will arrive and I'll be making tons of videos about it. I'm going to have an unboxing, comparison videos to my GH4, sample videos, a bunch of cool stuff. So if you're seeing this in the future, after you watch this video, go check out my channel, subscribe, and then watch those other videos. And if you're watching it before my other videos are out, or kind of in the middle, definitely subscribe so you guys will see the content as I put it out. So I'm very excited about this camera, and there's quite a bit of pros about this camera, quite a bit of reasons why I'm excited about it. Now there are a couple cons, a couple concerns, and I will actually mention those as well, but I made myself a list just because there's so much pros, I don't want to forget some of them. And I'm not even going to be naming all of them, just the ones I'm kind of excited about. So this is a bridge camera, which means it's kind of between a point and shoot and a DSLR. It does have a long lens, so quite a bit of zoom range. It has a good lens in it, and it does have a decent sized sensor. And the number one pro that I want to talk about, the first one on my list, is the price. This is $899. So this is higher than quite a bit of other cameras, but once we go down the list of other pros, you're going to see why. And I think this is actually the best bridge camera you can buy at this time compared to anything out there, even the more expensive options. So with that price, you get 4K video. This is the absolutely amazing part of it, why a lot of people are really excited about this camera. This is the first camera that's at this price point that shoots 4K. Now there is a Sony Handycam, a camcorder style camera, and that's $2,000. Now there's also the GH4, which I have two of, and those are $1,700, but you also have to remember you have to buy lenses for that. This is $900 and has a lens built in, and it shoots 4K video. Next on the list is the 1-inch sensor. So a 1-inch sensor is smaller than a Micro Four Thirds. It's smaller than the sensors that are in your Nikon and Canon cameras that are on the lower price bracket. Definitely smaller than a full frame sensor, but for a 1-inch sensor is still not small. If you look at all the other bridge cameras, the other point and shoots, they have super tiny sensors, like a 1/4 of an inch. There's even one smaller than that. So a 1-inch sensor is the same one that's in a couple of really popular, really nice Sony cameras. So I'm definitely still happy with a 1-inch sensor. Would I like a bigger one? Yes. But is it possible to have something with all these features at this price point with a big zoom range that I'll talk about? No, it's not possible. So I'm definitely happy with that 1-inch sensor. Next is not only do you get 4K video, you also get 120 frames per second at 1080p. Now this is something that the GH4 can't even do, and I'm really excited about this option. I'm really excited to test this out. Now the GH4 can do 96 frames per second, but it's without audio, and the image does lose some sharpness compared to the 60 frame per second 1080p. So 120 frames per second, this is the first time that I know of that you get something with this size of a sensor with 120 frames per second at 1080p. Now I know the smartphones are all getting 120 frames per second, but those are at 720p and on a really small sensor with not a good lens. So I'm really excited to check this out, do some videos for you guys about this. This could be really a deal breaker. Maybe this feature alone could be a reason why you might want to add this camera to all your other setup and all the other gear that you have. Next, the camera does have a microphone jack. Now, a lot of times when you have these less expensive cameras, they have a lot of nice features, but the company will take the microphone jack out just to make it so that you would want to buy a higher end model. It's not something that they really save a lot of money on. They just want you to spend more money to upgrade to something higher. Now, this is a $900 camera with those features, and you have a microphone jack. So if you want high quality audio, if you want to use a lav, like right now I actually have my lav plugged right into GH4, you could do that and you don't have to sync up later. So that is awesome. Next, you have zebras and you have focus peaking. So zebras will tell you if you're overexposed in certain areas. Focus peaking will show little kind of, I guess, dots, kind of like a glittery type thing wherever you're focused. So that helps you focus if you're using manual focus, so you see where you're at. Now, pretty much no Canon cameras except for their super expensive ones have this. Even the 5D Mark III that costs over $3,000 doesn't have focus peaking, sorry guys, and zebra stripes. They don't have it. Now you're getting a $900 camera with all those options, and you're getting both of these great video features built in, which is awesome. Next, this is another part that I'm really excited about. It has the same bit rate as the GH4. Now here's another area where if you're buying a cheaper camera, the manufacturer will cut down on something to kind of get you to step up and spend more money. So the GH4 shoots 4K at 100 megabits per second, and this $900 camera also shoots 4K at 100 megabits per second. So this is important because if you're going to be doing some color correction, you're doing some grading to your footage, you have more data to work with. So instead of cutting something down to like 25 or 50, they're keeping it at 100. So if you're trying to match this camera, this bridge camera, the FZ1000, to a GH4 like I will be doing, it's going to be a lot easier for you to do so. Next, it has the same body and the same flip out screen. Now there are some button differences, but in general it has the same ergonomics and the same flip out screen, which is really convenient. And I love the feel of the GH4 in my hand. I've used full frame cameras, I've shot with crop sensor cameras, and the GH4 fits perfectly in my hand. I love how it feels, so I'm also excited about that. Okay, so the built-in lens is next on my list. Now this could be a con or kind of depending on how you look at it, but I'm happy that it has a built-in lens because for $900 with all those options, you also have a lens there that you can use. You don't have to go out and spend more money on other lenses. Now it also kind of depends on the quality of the lens, but from what I'm seeing, it's a pretty good quality. And the lens also has a 24 to 400 zoom, so you can zoom in a ton, and you have like some wider type shots you could do, and you can zoom in, so you have a really nice range like your normal bridge camera will do. And with a 1-inch sensor, you still have that big zoom range. Now it is from a f2.8, which is fairly bright compared to other bridge cameras, to f4 when you zoom in all the way, but that range is still fairly decent if you are looking for something that will zoom in quite a bit. And next on my list is it has the same focus system as the GH4. Now I watched some comparison videos about the GH4 if you're interested in taking photos, and the autofocus system is top notch out of any of the mirrorless, no, I guess you can't call it DSLR, but mirrorless cameras. Basically it has the fastest autofocus. There are some comparisons, and it even matched up closely to the D4S, which is a over $5,000 camera. So if you're going to take photos, you're going to have the same focusing system and 12 frames per second, just like the GH4 has. That's awesome. You can't really ask for more. So that's another great feature there. And as far as the image quality, you are getting that 1-inch sensor. So the photos that I came out of it that I looked at, the video also looks really good. Now I'm going to be doing my own testing, but from what I've seen, you do get some awesome image quality. And the last thing I want to mention, if I haven't mentioned enough, is you are getting it for $899, something that does 4K, 120 frames per second, has all those video features, has a mic, has a flip out screen, all this stuff for $899. It's almost unbelievable. So some cons. Now there might be more cons. This is just from my research, what I've seen. The first con I would want to say is the f2.8 to f4.0 lens. Now you do have a really nice zoom range from 24 all the way to 400, but personally I don't need that extra 400. I would be happier having a 24 to 200 like the Sony RX100 at a constant f2.8 range, so you can zoom in and you're not going to lose light doing that. I guess Panasonic was trying to please a bigger audience, maybe somebody who takes photos as well, that wants to zoom in a ton. I don't know if you're at the zoo or something. I'm not sure why you need that much of a zoom range, but that's one thing that I would love to have changed. Who knows, maybe a newer version would have something like that. I'm going to stick on the wider end anyway, so who knows, it may not affect me as much, but I would have loved to see a constant aperture lens that's built into the camera. Now the second con that I found out is it only shoots at 30 frames per second if you're shooting 4K. This is something that I think Panasonic may or may not have done intentionally to not give you as much features. I'm not exactly sure how the sensor works. I know if you're shooting if you're shooting 4K on the GH4, it works fine if you want to do 24 or 30. So it may be just a software type thing that they put in there, like a limitation, or maybe it's hardware. Who knows? I really don't know. But it would have been great to have a 24 frames per second option. Currently, I do use both, and I know you can always take 30 frames per second, and you can change that to 24 in post. And it's easier to go from 30 to 24 than from 24 to 40, or from 24 to 30, sorry. So I'm happy that at least we have the 30 instead of just the 24 option, but it would have been better to have both of those. Now, those are the only two, believe it or not, cons that I kind of currently am thinking about. As I have the camera, as I use it more, I'm probably gonna find out some more cons. But I do have kind of one concern that I wanted to mention is the 4K crop. Now, on the GH4, if you're shooting 1080p like any other mirrorless Micro Four Thirds sensor, you have a 2.0 crop compared to full frame. Now, if you choose the 4K setting, it becomes a 2.3 times crop because it needs to lose some of those pixels there to be able to use each pixel for a 4K image. So there's no downscaling and anything like that. It's actually using the whole part of the sensor to make that 4K image. So it does zoom in your image a little bit. Now with this is a 20 megapixel sensor in here, and I'm not sure what the crop is gonna be like. So that 24 to 400 could be more like a 30 to 400 because of that crop. So that's something I'm not sure yet. I'm pretty sure that there is gonna be a crop, but we'll see how much that's gonna affect it. I definitely do wanna have a wider angle lens. I would love it to stay at the 24 because it's almost perfect for a nice wide angle. But I guess that's one other thing I'm gonna have to test out and make a video on for you guys. So those are my thoughts on the new FZ1000 Panasonic bridge camera. Once again, I'm really excited to get it. A couple more days and I will have it in my hands, and I think it's gonna be a perfect addition to my two GH4s that I have right now to use as a B or a C camera to do as like a safety shot for weddings. It's perfect, has a built-in lens, I don't have to mess with that, and it's gonna match up perfectly to my GH4 footage. So if you guys have any questions, any comments, anything else, go ahead and write that in the description. I'll be sure to answer those questions down there, and subscribe if you haven't yet to see my upcoming videos on the FZ1000 and the comparisons between the GH4, all that type of good stuff. So thank you guys for watching, and I do have a link in the description to this camera where you guys could pick it up on Amazon, so go and check out that. Thank you guys for watching. Hopefully this video has been helpful to you guys, and I will see you later. Bye.